They say the most dangerous people in this world are not the ones who shout or threaten or announce their wickedness with noise. Sometimes, the most dangerous ones are the people who smile the most. In Okuta village, people believed smiles were blessings, inviting, warm, harmless. But everything changed the year two sisters walked into town and only one of them carried a smile that hid something dark. This is not the kind of story you hear in whispers. This is the kind of story that forces silence, the kind that makes elders lock their doors before nightfall. Because when the truth finally came out, the entire village realized a smile can hide a monster. In the dusty heart of Okuta village, two sisters grew up like light and shadow. Adesewa, tall, calm, with eyes that always looked like she was praying for everybody. And Dara with the brightest smile you ever saw. A smile that could melt stone. A smile that fooled even the wise ones. But his smiles had weight. Dara's own was heavy. Heavy with secrets nobody could name. They lived with Mama Ronke, a widow known across the village as a woman who never allowed suffering to defeat her. This woman could walk from sunrise to moonrise without stopping, pounding yam for neighbors, roasting corn by the roadside, washing clothes until her fingers wrinkled like old paper. And she raised both girls with the same hand, the same discipline, the same sacrifices. Adesewa, grateful to her bones, carried those lessons with humility. But Dara carried hers like burden, like something she didn't ask for. Still, she never spoke rudely, never insulted anybody. No, Dara was sweeter than honey, but the kind of honey that ants refused to touch. If you greeted her, she would smile. If you insulted her, she would smile. If she saw a fight, she would smile. It got to a point where elders began to whisper, how can someone be smiling every time? Is everything okay? Nobody suspected anything. Not yet. One Hamatan evening, when the air tasted like dust and cold water, Adesewa returned from school and found Dara sitting behind their house. Just sitting, alone, smiling at nothing. But not the normal smile people knew. This one was too stiff, too wide, too wrong. Adesewa froze. Her voice trembled. Dara, who are you smiling at? Dara turned slowly, and that smile didn't even shake. I saw something, she said, but don't worry, it's nothing serious. Nothing serious. But her eyes were shining like she had seen something she shouldn't have seen. A week later, strange things started happening in Okuta village. The chief's goats, normally noisy like stubborn children, suddenly grew silent. Hens stopped laying eggs. At night, people heard footsteps behind their windows, but when they checked, nothing was there. The elder said it was spirits. The youths blamed thieves. Children cried and refused to play outside. But Mama Ronke knew one thing. Peace was leaking out of the village like water from a cracked pot. Then one Sunday morning, the body of a small carved wooden figure, the kind only herbalists used, was found near the stream. Nobody claimed it. Nobody knew where it came from. Nobody wanted to touch it. But Adesewa noticed something. The carving had the same blue beads Dara wore on her wrist every day. Her heart dropped. Dara, this looks like your beads. Dara laughed softly. Too softly. Adesewa, everything you see is not everything that is meant for you. Adesewa's stomach tightened. This was no longer normal. 2 days later, at exactly midnight, Adesewa woke up to a sound. Soft, repetitive, almost like whispering. She sat up, heart pounding like talking drum. When she looked across the room, Dara's bed was empty. Her wrapper was still there. Her sandals were still there, but Dara was gone. Adesewa slipped out of the house, bare feet touching cold earth, following the sound. And that was when she saw her sister standing behind the mango tree, smiling again, smiling into the darkness, smiling like she was talking to something Adesewa couldn't see. Before she could speak, before she could run, before she could even breathe, Dara whispered, "Don't follow me again. You won't like what you find." Morning in Okuta village usually came with peace. Birds singing, women sweeping compounds, children chasing each other with dusty legs. But the morning after Adesewa followed Dara outside, the village woke with tension hanging in the air like smoke. People whispered, animals acted strange, and Dara moved like nothing had happened. She entered the kitchen humming softly, pounding yam with calm strength, wearing that same unsettling smile. Adesewa watched her from the doorway, hands trembling slightly. Dara, where did you go last night? Dara didn't turn, didn't pause, didn't act surprised. Instead, she smiled at the mortar. Ah, Sewa, must you know everything? By midday, word spread that the village hunter, Baba Akim, had seen something strange near the bush path. He stumbled into the square shouting, "Something there for that forest, oh! I swear to God, I no fit explain am. Eyes, wey no be human eyes, they look me." Women screamed, men gathered machetes, children clung to their mothers' wrappers. But amidst the panic, Dara simply walked past, calm, still smiling, like she already knew what everyone feared. One woman hissed, "That girl smiled too much. Person wey no fear even when danger dey. Something no pure." Another added, "Since she come back from that night video last year, she never remained the same." And still, Dara smiled. That night, Adesewa couldn't sleep. Her heart beat in her throat. Her mind kept replaying Dara's stiff midnight smile behind the mango tree. So she quietly walked to Mama Ronke's room. "Mama, I'm worried about Dara. Something is not right." Mama Ronke sat up, tired eyes glowing in the moonlight. "Every child gets their struggle, my daughter. Leave your sister. She is fine." But Adesewa couldn't shake the feeling that this time, Mama was wrong. Very wrong. The next day, things became worse. First, the stream turned muddy, not from rainfall, but from something thick, dark, and strange that floated on the surface. Then, the chief priest ran out of his shrine sweating like fire was under his feet. "My gods are silent. Something stronger is roaming this village." People panicked. But the worst part was that everywhere they went, every corner they turned, they kept seeing Dara standing alone, always smiling, always watching. One village boy whispered, "Her shadow, no, they look like her shadow again." That was when the elders decided to consult Ifa. At sunset, drums echoed around the village square. The elders sat in a circle, palm oil lamps flickering in the wind. The air was thick. People whispered prayers under their breath. The Babalawo stepped forward, cast the cowries, and closed his eyes. For a long time, nothing moved. Not the wind, not the leaves, not even the flames. Then, the Babalawo opened his eyes sharply. "Someone amongst us walks with a spirit they cannot control." The villagers gasped. Who is the person?" The Babalawo whispered, "The one whose smile never fades, even in darkness." Every head turned, slowly, fearfully. Their eyes landed on Dara, standing at the edge of the gathering, smiling. But this time, her smile didn't look human. Suddenly, the lamp nearest her flickered violently and went out. A cold breeze swept through the square, snatching people's breaths. Dara stepped forward slowly. One step, two steps. Her shadow stretched unnaturally across the sand. Adesewa grabbed Mama Rovio's hand, voice shaking. "Mama, what is happening to Dara?" Mama Ronke's lips trembled. I don't know. I don't know anymore." Then, without warning, Dara threw her head back and laughed. Not a normal laugh, not a human laugh. It was sharp, cold, echoing, like something laughing through her. People screamed. Some ran, some fell to the ground, some clung to their children's wrappers. But Dara, smiling, laughing, simply whispered, "I told you not to follow me." And that was when the Badalawo shouted, "She is not alone. Something follows her." That night, the village square felt different. The air was heavier than a storm cloud, thicker than smoke from a burning farm. Adesewa's heart pounded like talking drums in a festival. river. Mama Ronke's eyes were wide with worry, and Dara stood in the center, smiling, as if daring the world to look closer. She is not the same, Adesewa whispered to herself, and she never will be. The Babalawo stepped forward, staff in hand, voice trembling like dry leaves. I have seen it. The girl, she has been touched by something older than this village, something that does not forgive, something that does not sleep. The villagers gasped, clutching their children. Women began murmuring prayers under their breaths. Men gripped machetes with shaking hands. Dara tilted her head, still smiling. The smile was no longer warm, no longer playful. It was sharp, deliberate, like a blade hidden in silk. Adesewa stepped forward, hands trembling but voice strong. Dara, what is happening to you? Mama Ronke tried. I tried. Why are you hiding this from us? Dara's eyes glowed faintly in the lamplight. Her lips curved, but the warmth was gone. I never hid it. I just waited for everyone to see what I am. Her voice hardened. Everyone fears what they don't understand. Everyone cries when they cannot control. Adesewa's stomach sank. She realized Dara's smile wasn't just a mask. It was a warning, a signal that the darkness she carried was real. The Babalawo raised his staff, chanting in a voice that cut through the night. He pointed at Dara. By the gods and spirits of this land, the one smiling hides a spirit older than her, a spirit that demands obedience or it will consume everything she loves. Dara's smile widened, almost proud. Yes, it is true. I am not alone, and it has chosen me. Gasps erupted from the villagers. Children screamed. Men dropped their weapons in shock. Mama Ronke ran forward, tears falling down her cheeks. My child, my daughter, you cannot fight this alone. Dara shook her head slowly. I never wanted to fight. I only wanted them to see, to understand the power I carry. Suddenly, the wind howled. The lamps flickered violently. Shadows danced across the walls, moving on their own. The villagers froze, rooted to the ground in fear. Adesewa saw it then, a dark figure hovering just behind Dara. Its form was vague, like smoke and shadow combined, but its eyes glowed red. It was massive. It was alive. It was feeding on Dara's strength, and Dara, smiling, seemed to command it. Dara, stop! You can't control it. Her smile faltered for a fraction of a second, just enough for the figure to notice her fear, and then it launched. The next morning, Okuta village woke to silence. The goats were gone. The children did not play. Even the river seemed quieter. Adesewa found Dara sitting under the mango tree, alone, silent, her smile gone. Mama, I tried, Dara whispered. My smile, it was the only thing that kept it from me. Mama Ronke embraced both girls, shaking, tears streaming down her cheeks. You are still my children. Even in the darkness, you are still my children. But the village knew the truth. Some smiles hide monsters, some shadows hide ancient powers, and some sisters carry a darkness that even love cannot erase.